Lone Wolf, based on my new book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at work, at home, and at play. Today on Tracking the Lone Wolf, Reconsidering the Alpha. Tracking the Lone Wolf is a new twice-monthly show with lots of invaluable information for just about everybody. So I suggest that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. The book is available in paperback and for Kindle and in audiobook format from Audible or other platforms. I'm a public speaker, and I invite you to visit the website Tracking the Lone Wolf for more information on that. Okay, the alpha personality. Why do we use this terminology? It came to us from a book in the 70s whose author studied wolves in captivity and found that the alpha male was the leader of the pack, and this was the animal to lead the hunt and the first to feed and the one allowed to mate, and that the other males were supplicant and they were designated the beta males. So this became commonly applied to the human community in the 1980s. You might remember it was alpha male this, beta male that. But of course, it's too limited, far too limited, to be applied to the human community. It's even too limited to be applied to the lupine community. The study does not take females into account. It doesn't take the complexity of the human psyche into account. And it studied wolves that were in captivity and not in the wild. So it's a faulty system, but it's one we're working with. It's one we're developing, and Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at work, at home, and at play is a part of that effort. So let's take a look at the alpha male, the alpha female as well. This personality is very fiercely loyal, competitive, focused, driven, protective. This is a personality which needs to lead. It's a sociable personality. There is a compulsion to lead here. There is a leaning toward physical aggression. These are the qualities of a leader, but they also have their drawbacks. The alpha is stubborn, implacable, old-fashioned, committed to ideals, and that's a good thing, but prone to resist evolution in the face of changing times. The alpha male or female is often the creator of their own downfall by failing to change as the times change around them. They are adherent to their culture without being aware of the climate. Their culture may not change, their climate will change. So the alpha is often fixed-minded and not growth-minded, because the alpha seeks to maintain stasis. The alpha thinks of his or herself as a leader, but a leader instigates change, and a manager maintains stasis. And really, the alpha's true goal is to maintain stasis wherein they are the alpha, because the alpha position is precarious. It is ever threatened by sociological and physiological factors. The alpha, therefore, is in a constant state of insecurity about their leadership. The alpha is prone to narcissism because of this. The alpha is prone to personality disorders such as superiority or inferiority complex, disorders such as abuse personality disorder, or even antisocial personality disorder. Certainly narcissistic personality disorder. When it comes to the complexes, You're looking at savior complex, God complex, inferiority complex, superiority complex. There's a combination of these which create the narcissist, and the alpha is prone to narcissism. So let's look at the three theaters of life. This show and my book consider all these personality types in three theaters: the professional, the familial, and the social. We think of them at work, at home, and at play. So, the alpha at work. This is your manager. This personality type seeks to lead, so they find leadership positions. They also have a lot of the leadership qualities: intelligence, drive, focus. But it's dangerous to have an alpha as your manager, even though you probably do, because they can be implacable. They can be stubborn. They do not like to be challenged. They can be resistant to change. Remember, a manager seeks to maintain stasis. A leader seeks to change. But most companies don't thrive on constant change. They thrive on managing the stasis. So a leader is not always what's required in a manager. A manager is what's required in a manager. But an alpha has a compunction to lead. So this may cause a conflict. However, the alpha is attractive to a lot of other people in the workforce. The beta is attracted to the alpha, and the betas by far outnumber the alphas. The omegas and the gammas may resist, the sigma will resist, but by far the gamma is the beta is the body of the workforce. And this is a personality which is attracted to the leadership qualities of the alpha. In the family, we find an even greater need for the alpha, because in the workplace, there's a need for both managing and leadership. But in the home, you need more leadership because there's greater change. The changes that happen in the lives of your work team are not so much the purview of the manager or leader, but in the home, they very much are the purview of the manager or leader. So in the home, you're going to find that the alpha plays a bigger role. This is generally going to go to the patriarch, the father of the house, if there is one, or one of the designated two of the couples, of the couple, whatever gender they may be. Why is this? Well, in general, a ship can only have one captain. Two alphas together, as we'll see in a moment, may clash. An alpha and a beta work well together, and that creates a good, smoothly functioning household. Not that they are not equal in status or in decision-making capacity. Only it's natural for one personality type to sort of take the lead. I'm not saying that it is a good thing. It just happens. It is influenced by generations of sociology. And there's little I can do or say about it. However, times are changing, and a good, a solid personality is ready to evolve and ready to change with the times. That's the drawback of the alpha. Solid though it may be, it's too solid, and it's inflexible. Let's look at the social theater, at play. At play, the alpha is not needed nearly as much as it is in the familial world, in the familial theater, nor in the professional. In fact, in the social theater, it's hardly necessary to have an alpha at all. But they do tend to have a compulsion to lead. So in social circles, if you're an alpha, or if you know an alpha, you might find yourself being problematic in social circles where a leader is not really necessary. You may have a compulsion to do it, and others around you may have that compulsion, but try to ignore it if you can, because in social circles, it's not necessary. In dating circles, which is part of the social theater, the alpha is often drawn to the beta and the beta to the alpha. Oftentimes, two alphas may be drawn together, but that can create a volatile relationship because each one is compelled to lead and neither one is compelled to follow. So when you have two who are leading with no one to follow, you might have a change in direction for each of these personalities. That's what they call a volatile relationship. Now let's take it to the sigma, to the lone wolf. Let's apply it to the lone wolf, as I do in my book. Well, the alpha and the sigma clash because the alpha needs to lead, but the sigma doesn't want to be led. The alpha does not like to be contested, but the sigma is a natural curious personality, naturally curious, wants to ask questions, wants to challenge authority, does it by nature. It's the lone wolf. The lone wolf doesn't need authority, and the authority feels threatened by the lone wolf. The lone wolf is often misunderstood, and it is misunderstood most often by the alpha, who takes it as a threat. But the sigma is no threat to the lone wolf. The sigma is no threat to the alpha. It simply has a detached sort of disinterest. That makes, however, the sigma a good advisor to the alpha, a good sounding board, because the sigma will be honest, because the sigma doesn't require acceptance socially the way the alpha does. The alpha needs society or else there's no one to lead. But the lone wolf does not need to be led the way the beta might be. So there's a clash there. If you're in any of the theaters, professional, familial, or social, including romantic, sigmas and alphas will clash. Beware of that. We'll talk about how sigmas get along with the other types in future episodes of Tracking the Lone Wolf. And that pretty much brings us to the end of our study of Reconsidering the Alpha. Here on Tracking the Lone Wolf, you can read more about it in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. It's available in paperback and for Kindle and in audiobook format in Audible and other platforms. I'm Fletcher Roden. This has been Tracking the Lone Wolf. Thank you for watching. Come back soon.